most successful female Latin artist of all time. And even though it's been 25 years since her tragic death, her story and her music live on, thanks to the buzzy new drama, Selena, the series. Take a look.
If we go out there and give it everything that we've got, we can make this happen, now or never.
Baila esta cumbia un ritmo, ritmo sin igual, nadie se quede sentado.
On the road with Selena Dino.
You don't want to be called difficult. Lots of bands are difficult, some impossible. They still get records made because they sell records.
And star Ricardo Chavira is with me now. It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm very good. Good to see you too.
So listen, there's a lot of buzz around this project already. What was your first reaction when you got the call that this was happening?
For me, my reaction was I wasn't sure that it was a proper fit. You know, I know the story very well, and I wasn't seeing the relation of, you know, me looking or being Abraham.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I had this long conversation. I got the photographic history image of Abraham to play him over the span of 15 years. And I was like, okay, this makes more sense. And then I started doing my due diligence as an actor and researching him, watching his interviews online and the stuff that they had. And that's when I started. I was like, I know this guy. Like, this is every one of my tios. This is my dad. Like, I get this. I mean, because I grew up in South Texas my whole life.
Oh my gosh! So it's safe to say that you were very familiar with her story, her music.
Selena and I were separated for 4 months.
Wow.
In terms of age.
Yeah.
So she was born in April. I was born in September of '71. So, you know, when her rise to fame was escalating, I was the same age.
And kind of what part of her life are we going to be looking at?
Okay, so I've never seen the movie in its
really?
entirety. I've only seen clips of the movie, but I've been told about the movie.
Yeah.
Once I got this audition process and I know it was going down the road, I did not want to watch it at all because I didn't want that to affect my personal choices as an actor for this character. But what I do know about it is that the movie really tries to focus on the relationship between specifically Selena and the father, Abraham. And everything else, the other characters are kind of tertiary. And so with this one, it's much more ensemble, and you really get to understand the dynamics of the Quintanilla family.
Yeah.
And so the other characters, like the sister Suzette, the brother A.V., are fully realized characters.
Well, and it's been 25 years since she died. What do you think still resonates with people that they're so interested they still want to know her story?
Well, coming from South Texas, you know, it is a very dominant story. She was so iconic, and it is something that is definitively South Texas and Mexican American.
Yeah.
So for that, you know, the specificity of that, to be able to have a story that is specifically Mexican American, is something that I think is truly important. But in being specific in that way, what it really does is it adds a universality to it. That is, this is a story of the American dream.
As a Mexican American yourself, how important is it for you to be a part of this story, to celebrate this culture at this moment in time?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, we've been, you know, there's been a huge issue, you know, over the course of the past few years where it's like, you know, Latino representation, Mexican American representation within the entertainment industry has almost been non-existent.
Yeah.
But we're the largest growing minority in the United States. So,
right.
and then when we do have representation, a lot of times it has a tendency to be very stereotypical. And here we have this beautiful story about a Mexican-American family and their struggle to find success and to find definition for themselves in the framework that is that American success story and the American dream. Yeah. And so I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I'm nervous to be a part of it because, you know, I am from South Texas and I want to be careful with that. You know, I want to make sure I'm doing the absolute best job in representing this story that comes from the area that I come from.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big story from that area that the University of Texas at San Antonio has a class dedicated to her. You did a panel with the students, right? What was
I did.
That like?
Yeah. It was fun. It was actually, again, nervous.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing was that my exec producer, Jaime Davila, from Campanario Entertainment, did it with me. I called him and asked him, I was like, hey, I've got this opportunity to do this for this class. It's in San Antonio where I'm from. Would you do it with me? And he was like, oh my God, of course. So we had a great time bouncing off of each other. They were wonderful. The Dr. Aleman was absolutely amazing as the person who was procuring the panel that day. So it was great. Yeah.
Well, I have no worries that you represented well and that you did an amazing job, and I cannot wait to see it. Selena is streaming on Netflix now. Ricardo, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're very welcome.